Stephen Smith is now being interviewed by Fran Kelly on ABC Radio National. Let's take a listen.
Has India signed up?
No, India has not signed up to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and India has made it very clear over the period and including in recent times that it won't under any circumstances sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So the international community has grown to understand and also accept that. What has changed in recent years has been India and the United States entering into a civil nuclear arrangement. That arrangement was approved effectively and supported by the IAEA Board of Governors, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and also the Nuclear Suppliers Group, of which Australia is a member. Australia supported that arrangement, and it's really that which has changed the dynamic in the last couple of years and has seen the Prime Minister, in my view, quite correctly, say that this issue needs to be resolved at our forthcoming national conference.
Well, the Prime Minister says that the current ban, which is this Australia policy, has become anachronistic. Perhaps what's anachronistic is that Australia now feels that we need to support American policy simply because America signed up with India, that we need to do it.
Well, it's not American policy. It is a civil...
Well, yes, it is. America has a bilateral
No, but it's not.
agreement.
It's not exclusively, as to use your phrase, an American policy. The United States and India entered into a civil nuclear arrangement so that the United States could supply India with nuclear materials for civil purposes. That arrangement was subject to the approval of the International Atomic Energy Agency, its Board of Governors, and also subject to approval by the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Australia was a member of the Board of Governors of the IAEA and a member of the Nuclear Suppliers Group, and we strongly supported a positive response to that arrangement within both those very important international nuclear regulators. That's what's changed. That occurred in 2008, 2009. This is the first national conference that we've had, which has essentially had a couple of years to see that arrangement embedded. The United States is not the only country which has either agreed to or is proposing to supply nuclear materials, including uranium, to India. Canada is, in some respects, perhaps the best and most comparable example to Australia. They're proposing to do it. And the reason all of that is occurring is because the arrangements approved by the Nuclear Suppliers Group and the IAEA are de facto effectively the same requirements that you would require for a nuclear non-proliferation treaty country. Australia...
With respect, though, Minister, those agreements have been in place for some years now. So for some years, this Labor government has maintained its official ban, knowing that those things were in place, those things which you say change the dynamics of this. I mean, isn't this simply an admission that Labor's policy, full of contradictions, has been, according to your interpretation, now wrong and out of date for some years?
Well, they came in place in the last quarter of 2008. We had a conference in the middle of 2009. I don't think it was appropriate at that conference to move on this front.
Why not?
Well, because we wanted to see some time to ensure that those arrangements were bedded down and essentially accepted by the international community, which they have been. But be that as it may, where are we now? We're now in 2011. India is a rising superpower. The rise of India continues to be underappreciated. India needs to be treated as if it were a rising power, a superpower. India has got a very good record in terms of non-proliferation of uranium or nuclear materials. Australia's view has always been that if you're a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and you sign up to Australia with a separate bilateral protocol, we will export uranium to you. Circumstances have now changed, and we are very confident that India will not only satisfy all of the undertakings it gave to the Nuclear Suppliers Group, a separation of its nuclear materials so far as civil and military is concerned, an undertaking not to engage in any nuclear testing, which it hasn't done for a number of years, and to subject itself essentially to IAEA inspectors and quantification measures. All of these things effectively put in place an arrangement with which Australia can be very confident about, and we should recognise strategically the rising nature of India as a power and the strong view that the Prime Minister has, and I share it, is that this is a sensible thing to do to reflect the changed circumstances in the nuclear supply arrangement, but also to reflect the rising stature and status of India as a superpower in this century.
And
Defence Minister Stephen Smith there speaking on Radio National.